I'm live here with some of the movers and shakers across the nation who have been, some are newer than others to this space. Some represent top NFT technology and blockchain technology platforms that are serving artists and creative entrepreneurs across the world. And others are artists and event curators. We have an artist manager in the mix. I'm an awesome singer, songwriter, who calls her home Nashville now. And so many amazing people in the audience and soon to be panelists, part of the meet and greet. So stay true and through to the end. If you're just watching this on YouTube, that means you're not watching this on Zoom and you're not going to be able to participate in the meet and greet. So in order to participate in the meet and greet, you are going to have to sign up in advance because there's nothing like a live meet and greet. This is URL. We have some in real life stuff. We're going to in-person stuff we are going to be talking about in a little bit as well. So here we go. If you can't tell, I've been drinking some coffees. And who likes, yeah, I can see we got that here. So we're just gonna go around the room on this panel. The message derives from last month's talk by Rob Critchlow about simplifying the message, talking more about the benefits of Web3 and NFT technology, more about the benefits, less about the tech talk. Developers and some of us, we really like learning that stuff. Most people, we lose them right off the rip. So let's keep it simple and let's keep it moving. We're gonna go around and we're gonna just a real brief introduction of yourself. We're gonna kick it off with Adria, awesome artist manager, represent AMG, and one of her artists that she represents is on the call as well. And then we'll just go around the room.
Well, you just did the intro for me. That was better than anything I could do for myself. Thank you. No, my name is Adria Dillon. I'm an artist manager here in Nashville. I've been doing this. I started in this business when I was about 18 years old, and I'm much, much older than that now. Not to be disclosed exactly how old, but we're perpetually looking for something new. And so that for us is now Web3.
Beautiful. Hey, Liv.
Hey. My name's Liv Charette, and I am a singer-songwriter, recording artist here in Nashville. And oh my goodness, I'm originally from Ottawa, Canada. I moved here almost 7 years ago and have been pursuing music full-time ever since. Went to Belmont University for music business and audio engineering, and just doing the thing. And I love all things Web3. I've been just, as soon as I heard about it, I've been full into it, and just, I've always been kind of a nerd at heart. So this is speaking my love language, and to be able to use technology and cross that with music and marketing and all that stuff. It's just, there's so many possibilities. So I've been loving it.
Awesome, Liv. Such an honor to have you. We see you doing your thing on Twitter Space and also some of the more traditional things you've been working for a while and bringing those things together. We'll bring that over to Artz.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Artz. I'm a hip hop recording artist, art and event curator. Been in Web3 for about 2 years now. But for the last 10 years, I've been mixing my music with actual visual art. So all my songs came with paintings, comic books, sculptures, things of that nature. And I was throwing mixed media events to showcase not only my talent, but talent of the creatives within my collective, which is called Reject Dreams, modeled after like an X-Men Academy, sort of. And, you know, since then, I've went on to tour different parts of the world, collab with major artists, throw huge events within the NFT space, from the likes of working with people like Busta Rhymes to Ari Lennox, so on and so forth. And yeah, you know, I'm an independent artist from Brooklyn, New York, just, you know, trying to make my Reject Dreams come true.
Hey, well, what I can tell you about Artz is he really, whether it's in the cloud or on the ground, he brings an experience and authenticity to the table. So you'll be hearing more about some of those things that he's been working on and how he's been able to bridge the gap between more traditional hip hop artists and this emerging art and Web3 scene. So you've heard from a couple artists so far, y'all, Liv and Artz, who are definitely working, are multifaceted on the business end as artists, but also taking responsibility for their career. We have two representatives of some amazing platforms serving artists on this call. So I'm going to let Brenda, CMO and co-founder of AwardPool, one of the hottest NFT platforms anybody's hardly not heard, has not heard of, because they're behind the scenes providing a white label solution to help artists and content creators gamify their super fans and their audience and community. So go ahead and take it away, Brenda.
Well, what more can I say after that? That was a great introduction. I love being on this call with all these artists. I'm the CMO of AwardPool. It's a company I founded with my husband and 3 kids during the pandemic. So we're going on a couple years now. And AwardPool is designed to help content creators take control back of their content and find new ways to engage their fans and create community. So we love working with musicians. We work with several musicians and artists, and it's a space that we take pride in myself as a writer, my husband as an artist. It's a big space for us. So I'm thrilled to be on this call.
Awesome, Brenda. And that leads me to our next, really already a legend, but also a Web3 legend in the making. He's been in the music business for about 20 plus years, serving across the board with a lot of well-known platforms and people, but he did his research, found his way, really spearheading, a lot of research and relationships in the Web3 space, and found himself now as VP of business development at one of the top NFT platforms in the world, specializing in NFT ticketing and artists. You may have heard of the Kings of Leon drop, or you might have just heard about G Love and the Special Sauce's new album, or some of the awesome events that they're partnering with, NFT Nashville Fest, NFT NYC that they were part of as well. So Andrew Schiffman from Yellow Heart.
Wow, thank you. And with over 20 years experience, we won't try and guess how old I am either. So, but yeah, you did a great intro. It's good to be here with all these amazing panelists. I'm a fan of all of you and will become fans of all of you if I don't know you already. Yeah, Yellow Heart, we like to think ourselves as the premier platform for NFT ticketing. We really want to become a place where we can authenticate tickets, cut out the bad actors, eliminate scalping, connect artists to their fans directly, build community and long-term fan engagement beyond just a barcode and a receipt, as most ticketing platforms are now. So we're a very Web2 hybrid platform. We do take crypto, but obviously credit cards as well. And so, yeah, great to be here. Looking forward to the discussion.
Awesome, Andrew. Hey, and this leads me to our next special guest featured panelist, Michael McCarroll. We actually met during the NEVA, the National Independent Venue Association, was having their big conference in Cleveland, Ohio, and saw him outside of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and got to know each other real quick. And he's doing some amazing things in the event space, really sports and entertainment with Plexus. You might not think insurance as a sizzle, but this guy definitely not only has a firm foundation in that industry, but also brings the sizzle to the mix as well. So he's not one of those old rusty guys just smoking a cigar talking about why you need insurance. He actually believes in relationships, which hopefully any insurance agent that you should have a good relationship. All right, here we go, Mr. Michael McCarroll.
I appreciate that. Despite my having changed out of my concert t-shirt into a white dress shirt for this little webinar panel discussion, so to speak. Yes, I'm generally not your average insurance agent, insurance broker in the way I live my daily life, the clients that I run with, etc. Although I do still have a closet full of suits and white shirts that basically never get worn anymore. As you alluded to, no one in insurance or real estate, I think, decides when they're a kid they want to, become a big insurance broker, real estate broker. I think it's just you fall into it. For me, I was an aerospace engineering major who, was told to go that route because I was good at math and science. And I went to spring break freshman year of college and stayed on spring break and decided math and science wasn't only good in engineering, right? Took a job at an insurance agency, and really it wasn't about insurance for me. It was just a natural connectivity to people, a natural desire to just problem solve. And that's certainly an industry, my industry brethren would hate me for saying this, but it's chock full of mediocrity, to be honest. And a lot of agencies like to live and do well by just bringing in vanilla business and writing vanilla policies and just adding volume. That got boring pretty quickly to me. And so I, like most of us who, search out for a life of something beyond contentment and maybe some happiness, I grew as much as I could and kind of graduated into the uber corporate world. I was at a global broker for quite a while, was, grinding, was their youngest VP in my early 30s, and still was like, there's got to be more to life than this. I'm putting on a suit every morning and I'm fleeing the office as quickly as I can, which for me, because I'm a workaholic, was somewhere between 8 and 10 p.m. I had relocated twice, finding myself in Los Angeles, thank God, so that at least when I went back to my loft, I could strip off the monkey suit, leave my white t-shirt on, put on my jeans and my combat boots, and be me and go to a show, right? And I was just surrounded by places to see shows, sports venues to find myself in. And we went through a massive merger at the global brokerage I was at. I'm ridiculously loyal, despite how white boy I am. My mom's Sicilian. And that big merger kind of going sideways was what it took for me to have that like third life moment of, dude, I'm not happy. Like what can I do different? And the global broker I was at was, too big for their own good. I wasn't allowed to work on venues or music festivals or emerging cannabis companies or emerging tech or whatever it might be, the fun stuff, because they weren't big enough and they didn't revenue enough money, right? They weren't AT&T or American Airlines. And so in the midst of taking some meetings, life is weird. I got very lucky and just ended up in a meeting with an emerging shop that was private equity backed and wasn't going to put the same thresholds on me for revenue that Willis was, where I was at the time. And it was probably our second or third date. Let's call it what they are when you're interviewing. They're basically dates, right? And, they had gone well. And towards the end of that dinner, it was like, what do you like to do? And without giving the long response I gave them, the conclusion was, well, I'm in LA because I love music. I love live music. I probably should have stayed in the bands when I was younger, and I love sports. And it just so worked out that they had an office in the LA area that wasn't growing very well, but had some really great offices in New York and Austin, Atlanta, et cetera. And those offices were focused on sports and entertainment. And they were the juggernauts in the space. AEG, Live Nation, PGA, Formula One, you name it, they were already accounts. But they didn't have any of the independent stuff because they too were still fairly focused on the really large accounts. And as we all know, there's tens of thousands of amazing accounts that aren't a 3-letter acronym that everyone on earth knows, right? And so I did get very lucky and joined that team and sat in those offices for the next year. It was kind of odd to be a 35-year-old apprentice who had already done my job for 15 years, but I appreciated it because I was sitting next to the teams that did all the coolest stuff in the world from an insurance and finance side. And luck had it that 2 years after that, that business was also busted up by big bankers and private equity and got lucky again. And the North American head of sales, chief marketing officer of that company became president of Plexus and gave me a call and said, hey, you're 40 now, you're an old man in the business, you've been doing it 20 plus years. Why don't you come just recreate everything that you just witnessed for the last couple? And so what we did at that point was just that. Our accounts are hyper-focused in sports and entertainment. I also have a cannabis practice, and we just handle the really difficult to insure stuff. So anyone that is in a space, sports and entertainment related, cannabis or complex technologies, including NFTs and everything else, we've got the team to do it. As such, we've got tons of friends in finance as well, and these are very difficult things to finance. So I appreciate you having me and look forward to the connections.
Beautiful. Hey, thank you so much. So, hey, you know, and what's cool is what we see. One of the reasons why Michael's on here is one of the first questions I asked is, got anything going on in blockchain? And so we are seeing a lot of traditional services starting to research this kind of technology and the Web3 movement, and to be able to service some of these emerging companies and projects. However, there's not a lot of people in these spaces. There's not a lot of attorneys, not a lot of insurance agents. So stick around to the end if you want to connect. We're going to probably be doing some more specialized kind of webinars and things like that with guys like Michael and some other people in the mix as well. I see David Volcano in the mix. He works with a lot of if you're ever looking for the kind of groups that have angel investors and good advisors and people like that, David does an awesome job here in Nashville. Also want to shout out King Dre in the audience. We're going to be doing a nice meet and greet coming up here real shortly after we get this conversation going. I just want to shout out King Dre, producer, actor, artist, boss life. Glad to have you in the mix. Carlos Jones, and the Plus Band's personal manager, Cleveland reggae legend, international artist, Carlos Jones manager, Larry Koval, want to shout him out. I see Kamal, one of the OG bass players for Arrested Development, producer, NFT, artist, and so many more in the audience. So stick around for the meet and greet, and welcome to Why Web3 Simplify the Message. So we're going to get this kicked off here. And I want to really go over to Liv and just say, hey, Liv, I know you've been researching this for a while. You really started to take ground, building community, figuring out your project. What is doing? We're going to do a real simple, going to go across the board. Before we talk about what's Web3, what's Web2, or what's Web1, what's Web2, what's Web3 in a few sentences or less?
My goodness. I mean, as far as I understand it, I mean, Web 1 was the first sort of evolution of the interwebs, like read only. And then Web 2 is more interactive, including apps like social media, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff that we use that has an app basically. And Web 3 is just this whole new world that is starting on, on blockchain technology, and just basically brings ownership back of a lot of things, as far as like data and I mean, so many things. That's a very like simplified version of it all. But I feel like other people can probably add more of a technical side. But yeah, it's the new wave of basically having ownership back and being able to, be more authentic online, be able to, there's more transparency in it as a whole. So, yeah.
Great job. Great answer. Hey, Adria, do you want to add anything to that or give your own simplified version?
Well, first and foremost, I would like Andrew Schiffman to narrate my entire life. Your accent's cool, my dude. But for me, and the way that I had to explain it to myself when I started, because it is this really daunting thing, and it seems big and it's a little bit scary for people. But for me, I fly a lot. I don't know how to fly an airplane, and I don't know how to build an airplane. But what I do know is that when I have a boarding pass, they let me on the plane in one city and I get off the plane in a different city. So for me, you know, I haven't had to learn the in-depth part of Web3 that was scary. So going from, you know, Web 1 for us, which was being able to build your artist a very pedestrian website, to Web 2, where they can now interact with fans on a little bit more of a higher platform, being social media and whatnot, to now Web 3, which for us is a technological development where they can interact with fans in the way that they used to do, going city to city to city to city, and shaking hands and hugging necks and signing autographs. And this is kind of allowing us to add that VIP level experience without having to really do a whole lot besides show up. So for us, that's what it's been, just to add on to what Liv said, which I think was a super succinct explanation and probably better than what I would have said had I gone first.
Love it. That's why you guys are a team. Hey, Brenda from AwardPool.
Sure. It's funny, I sat on a technical panel about a month ago and somebody asked the same question. And my answer was very similar to the two that you two just gave, because I'm not a technical person. I'm a marketer, I'm a writer, you know, I've been a creative director for 20 years, but I'm not a technical person. So when I think about Web3 and what it is, I think about the end user and I think about that experience of how it's changed for them. So rather than talking about the artist, I'm going to flip it and talk about how a user speaks to it, how a user interacts with the artist, and think about it from that side. So in Web 1, you might put up, as you say, a rudimentary site, right? Here's the site, here's my artist. And all that end user can do is read it. That's all they see. They don't get any information there. And then when we kind of evolved into Web 2, it was like, okay, so here's my website. You know what, you can send your opinions or you can write comments or you can tell me what you think about it, but I'm going to decide whether or not that gets posted on the site. And I'm going to decide whose opinion gets shown. And that artist still had that sort of main control. The end user was like, oh, okay, I guess that's all that's all I really get out of this. When I look at Web3, I really see that coming to that next level of engagement between them. So as the end user, they have the opportunity with NFTs to maybe, in their minds, purchase a piece of that art, or they have an opportunity to get involved with that community at sort of a next level. And it creates a much deeper connection. So as an end user, you now have the opportunity to feel like you are part of that ownership, and that fan club is like the next level now. And you can really get involved and feel more connected to the artists that you love. And that's why I think Web3 is really bringing that connection back that was kind of not quite there yet with the other iterations of the web. So that's where I see it.
That's great. That's great. You know, I think you guys everybody got a thumbs up that these ladies did a phenomenal job explaining Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. Thumbs up. I think we can begin to layer this thing now. And one of the most beautiful things about Web3 is the gatekeepers, if there are, they're not as big of a separation between you getting where you want to go versus having to call 100 different phone numbers or everybody seems a lot more accessible in this space. And what's amazing is there is not a lot of women right now in this space. I think a lot of people know that. You see it at a lot of conferences. There's been a lot of guys. We do believe that's going to change at NFT Nashville Fest and some of the conferences coming up in Miami and around the world. But what we do see is the women that are in this space are excelling. And so I want to give an opportunity just real quick to touch on, and you'd think I'd be asking a woman this question, but I'm going to go over to Artz because he's been leading the way as far as somebody who lifts up people. I saw him, he's bringing, doesn't matter who you are, he's bringing them up on stage in this space, whether it's in a Twitter space or live from New York City at one of his events. Artz, when you think of diversity, when you think of, what NFTs and this whole Web3 movement, the kind of doors it opens up for people overall, would love for you to touch on a little bit of that, kind of your philosophy, why you're so passionate about this space.
Yeah, for sure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this background for a second because I could show you diversity better than I could tell you. So for the last 10 years, I was changing my rap shows to mixed media concerts, and I started creating at-home gallery space. I'll show you the magic. Right now, it's a little bit messy, but hold on. I'll be brief with this because I know you have a lot to go over. But for me, you know, this is my creative space now in Queens, New York. But for me, diversity means a lot, right? Because as an independent artist, you know, in the music industry, there's no, or in any industry that's creative, there's really no blueprint how to make it into certain doors or get certain avenues in order to create sustainability for yourself to continue to produce your content or whatever you're doing. So diversity has been a big thing at my company at Reject Dreams because, you know, as I continue to open these doors that were closed prior to me entering them, I've seen how hard it was for not only myself, but other people to even to open some of these doors or even create some of their dreams to be a reality. And for me, you know, I never had a family member or any major relationships in the music industry. Most of the things that I've garnered has been through hard work, sacrifice, and just creating value for myself. But I understood along the way that the people who were following me or the artists that I was mentoring, the visual artists that I was selling work from, these people didn't have the manual or the know-how, and some of them didn't have maybe some of the skill sets I had. They might have had other skill sets that I didn't have. But I figured, like, in this day and age, you know, the how-to or this DIY movement that you see a lot of the times, the information is out there, but in these industries, there's so many middlemen and people that's trying to finesse or give you the smoke and mirrors approach that most people are not going to be able to enter some of those doors or those conversations if they don't have the know-how. So for me, as I continue to create opportunities for myself, it was really important for me, being a Puerto Rican, Sicilian hip hop artist out of East New York, Brooklyn, a place where a lot of people don't make it off their block or off their 3-block radius. You know, opportunity was something that a lot of people from where I'm from don't get to see every day, if that makes sense. And they kind of accept whatever their environment gives them, right? So for me, it was very important as I continue to navigate through music industry, contemporary art world, NFT, Web3 world, event world, that I be able to uplift people that I was inspired by. And like I said earlier, I kind of modeled Reject Dreams after like a new age X-Men. So all these artists that you see on these walls over here, I consider them superheroes in some way. And for me, I wanted to be able to showcase these people to the world as people started to discover me too. And that's, you know, all different ethnicities, genders, so on and so forth. It was really important for me to do that because, you know, a lot of the times these people don't have the information and you're taxed on the information you don't know in life and in this world. So diversity is a super important thing. Just the example of somebody else being able to see somebody from their background or from their neighborhood or their gender, you know, meeting, accomplishing these certain things. Believe it or not, just connecting to somebody's story or seeing somebody from where you're from make it out is such a motivator, you know, that sometimes that gets overlooked. So for me, you know, I always wanted to utilize my platform that the further I go and the more love I found along my journey on my travels and during my shows, I want to be able to give that back to people that I think deserve the spotlight and deserve to be showcased as well too. You know, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, you know, and I don't know if you guys caught the heart of what Artz is talking about, but I can tell you from knowing him, getting to know him from, you know, we were at the OG Matt and some of the smaller circles team out in during South by Southwest. And this man has event curation in his heart, in his bones. He was able to help throw like a last minute pop-up studio session, meets panel, meets pre-album release party, book the DJs and everything. Shout out to OG Matt, who's doing an event you might have just saw in the chat with NFT Nashville at the Entrepreneur Center here in Nashville, August 18th. He's doing a complimentary seminar in person. So, but Artz has, what I could tell you this is why I know he's a legend on the call, is I was at the Bitcoin brunch in Miami on a Sunday, and I'm talking to one of the guys there, and they're doing like kind of a back room, you know, sharing about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And this guy was an OG pioneer in the graffiti art world, and he's pretty heavy in the NFT space. And I looked at him, I said, yo, you got to meet my friend Artz. And he goes, wait, you talking about this guy right here who 5 years ago, you know, played at one of, you know, he's got this epic underground spot, showing me Artz was doing, I believe it was early on when he was mixing the actual art curation with the music. So we saw this in the Napster realm, y'all, when Napster all of a sudden with peer-to-peer file sharing allowed music to go to the masses, where you could be sitting in a dorm room, and instead of having to have a tape, a Grateful Dead or Dave Matthews tape passed to you, or a CD, you literally could see all these files from Dave Matthews to Fish to Snoop to OAR to G Love and the Special Sauce, Jack Johnson, Ben Harper, The Roots, all these groups from all around the world, where now like you could now share those files. And what we're seeing now is this culture now that was underground, and maybe the art and the music and movies that everybody was looking for a deal on Netflix. And now they're like, yo, I could just bypass that. Sammy Arriaga literally took some of his music off of Spotify. And I believe he made over $250,000 between him, his community, and his partners on the project, made over $250,000. So I just want, you know, we're going to get this, and, you know, we're going to go over to Andrew from Yellow Heart here, but I want to bring up Dillon Smith from Team Checked. Also, you never know who's going to all of a sudden become a panelist on this deal. Now, Team Checked is really, they represent some of the top 20 TikTok influencers in the world and are bridging the gap with Web2 and Web3. So welcome Dillon Smith to the stage. And Andrew from Yellow Heart, want you to share a little bit about why NFTs, why this empowers the artists, and we'll talk in a little bit about the events and NFT ticketing. But why is this so important for artists?
Yeah, I mean, it's really artists having a better relationship with their fans and cutting out the middleman. You know, we're not going to pay to reach our audience through some other platforms. We're not going to have email addresses that we have to buy. This is a decentralized environment where everything's open, and, you know, fans that want to get deep into crypto, they have an entry point, but otherwise it's really just having, you know, a better relationship, getting digital assets that are authenticated. And, you know, we're really fixing broken models, especially when it comes to ticketing, and using Web3 tech to just make them streamlined and make them work better. You know, ticketing hasn't been changed forever. You know, it went from paper to a barcode to a mobile phone, but that's really it. So we're really helping enhance that, eliminate scalping, forgery, all of the bad actors. And, you know, I see this across the board in every industry as well. So I think it's an amazing thing.
Awesome. Hey, Dillon, tell us a little bit in just a simple, why are you so passionate about bringing, you know, from your amazing wife, who's an awesome TikTok influencer and artist, to people like Sammy Arriaga and Cody and some of the people you represent. Why are you so passionate about bringing the people you represent over to this space?
Amazing. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me, Brenda?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right, start. We'll make sure. Well, great to meet everyone. Thanks for having me here. This has been very interesting to listen to, and sorry I was late. Was just catching up on some meetings. In terms of the vision, I mean, you did a great intro there. We rep over, you know, 500 million followers across TikTok alone, 50 of the top TikTokers themselves as creatives, and then those who are helping bridge the gap from Web 2 to Web 3 using that massive audience. So for us, it's how do we concentrate a million things that are issues in the Web 2 world, IP ownership, collection of royalties, verification, POAPs, fan utility, all of these things that are coming to fruition in Web 3 has been a big part of how we're communicating to our 500 million followers. So I was very excited when you mentioned hopping in Monday night and joining this panel, because what we do in the space and with our roster is very relevant. I'm excited to discuss with everyone how we can join forces.
Awesome. Thanks, Dillon. I want to invite some people from the audience. If you have any questions, go ahead, raise your hand. We'll go ahead and bring you up. We've set the stage. And before we even do that, Brenda, can you just share a little bit about what AwardPool, we're doing our best to just keep it real simple. Just what does AwardPool do, and how does that serve artists and some of the people that serve some of the people on the call?
Sure. So AwardPool is we call it a white label widget. Unlike what you had said earlier, Brendan, it's, we're one of the largest NFT sites nobody knows. And that's because we are white label. And what we are is you create your own widget. So Liv, for example, as a musician, can go in, she can create her own widget where she puts in different actions for people to compete. And every action that they complete, they get points. And then we have a reward system built right into the widget as well. So then they can go into the reward area and they can trade those points in for NFTs that you create, or you can sell NFTs in there as well. And the whole thing is created on our platform. And then you just put a couple lines of code and pop it into any website you want. So the idea is to create your own community. You create your own actions. You send people to what you want them to see, what you want them to hear. We're actually in Canada. They said you're from Ottawa. We're Toronto based, and we did a campaign for International Women's Day where we featured different women throughout the month. And for 1 week, we did all musicians. And so we picked a couple of local musicians that were sort of up and coming. And we created a widget for them where they went in and they put in some songs as NFTs. They sort of went to build up their socials. One of them had an event coming up, so they were pushing to that event to get people to go in and buy tickets. So there's lots of different ways that you can create it. But the idea is to build community around you as an artist, as a musician, as we've worked with authors as well as writers, promoting their books, that type of thing as well. So it's about you building what's important to you and putting it together and pushing people and driving people to engage and kind of gamify the experience. So that's what we do at AwardPool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Liv, tell us a little bit about kind of your research and development and how you're going about this space and launching your own personal project.
I mean, for me, as soon as I heard from actually a mutual friend of mine and Adria's, we were out at drinks one night and a friend of ours that works at Sony was like, have you guys heard of NFTs? We're like, NF what? And ever since then, we've been like super, I would say, curious at that point, because that was like several months ago, almost like a year ago now. But just since then, kind of doing our research, and I'm always one of those people that as soon as I hear of something that just sounds like really cool and just getting, I don't know, to hear about the technology more. And I have a cousin that's like super into like crypto and like nerding out with him. I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is what I've been waiting for as an artist, is to have something like this, because I mean, I do the TikTok thing, I do the Instagram thing, and all that stuff has been super great. And it's a great way to reach fans, and super grateful to have a platform like TikTok and to have, met so many people through there and had a cool community. But to just hop into like Twitter spaces and join some Discords and just kind of get my feet wet and see how a bunch of other projects have been doing it, and just how welcoming the community has been, because I really do find like this Web3 community is all about like onboarding new people and all about like education as well. So I feel like a couple of weeks in the Web3 world feels like, honestly, like months at a time. And it's crazy to think that it's been several months now of being super invested and just taking the time to do it right and build the community like one person at a time. Because I really think, I've always thought of fans that way too. And it's always one fan at a time, because that one fan, tells one of their friends or tells one of their family members. And then it's just like that ripple effect. And that's kind of what Web3 is all about, is supporting one another. So yeah, it's just been really cool. I'm super inspired by this space. And like I said, just taking the time to build that community and, do it right and have like the right song and the right artwork, and just kind of learning what works, what doesn't. And I'm a research nerd, so I want to cross all my T's, dot all my I's before we officially launch the very, first NFT, but it's coming soon. I'm very excited.
Awesome. We see you rocking those Twitter spaces, and which Twitter had a reemergence. Real quick before Artz has to go, I just want to jump over Dillon, if you can real briefly, because I want to set this up for Artz to be able to, because I know he's got a clubhouse he has to do. But Dillon, real quick, what is the funnel process from how you take that larger audience and scale it to a more intimate community with Team Check, from the Twitter space, or not the Twitter space, but from the TikTok all the way to getting somebody that might actually be part of your community and buy an NFT?
Sure. Yeah, no, it's a great question. So the way that we initially began to focus on Web3 with our clients, I'll give a perfect example. Cody, who dropped a series called NFT Ninjas, he's got a little over 8 million followers on TikTok. We took a lot of our community focused tools that we use at Team Checked and applied that into Web3, started building utility around a Discord group, built a marketplace that included early whitelist discounts and access to projects that were already, shut out. So for us, it was all about that community, right? So he did a great job of converting 8 million followers on TikTok into 70,000 followers on Twitter that are 100% dedicated to Web3, right? So that is about as targeted of an audience as it gets. He sold out his first project through them, did exceptionally well. Second one's about a month and a half away. He's one of a dozen clients I have that we work regularly with who are doing this. So it's all focused on the community. It's focused on the utility. The art is a small part of it, but in terms of how you can connect and engage those fans, those followers, those investors, and reward them, not just at the beginning, but throughout, right? You want to retain that floor price. You want to continue that gain. So focusing on that utility is really where we drive these projects.
Amazing. Hey, we want to shout out Artz, making waves around the world, literally getting ready for an international trip, and also a clubhouse room. So he's always steady, staying consistent. Artz, any closing words on your end? Just want to honor you also, man, everything you've been doing in this space. And for years, you were a artist and curator way before you were in the NFT space, and you're just really coming into your own now using the technology. So just want to give you an opportunity to say any few closing words.
Thank you, first and foremost, because, I think from what Liv said about building community one person by one person, you're somebody who, I built with. You became a believer in me. You've connected me to so many other genuine, great people. So, I could never stop giving you your flowers, first and foremost. And then just for everybody on the call, just keep believing, sometimes things are unconventional. And for me, most of my career has been unconventional. 2 years ago, my shows had 300 people. For the past 2 years in Web3, my shows have turned out to now thousands of people being lined up at the door. I've had opportunities to not only do shows like that by myself and have that type of audience, but now tech companies have came to me and offered me money to help curate their events, where I've been able to bring out stars like Busta Rhymes and Murder Beats and Nori. Miami, when you see me, was over 5,000 people, and we promoted the event a day before the show. And I know most of my people were there, believe it or not, even though we had a lot of celebrities in the building. And then just to speak towards what you said earlier about the first time you met me in Miami, somebody pulling out their phone, a graffiti artist, and showing you a clip of me. That just, I don't know who that artist was, and I want to find out because, I love the connectivity there and the synergy, but that goes to show like the testament to what the grind and hustle could be, and respect to people who are creating audiences and figuring it out through the internet. I have millions of views and streams and impressions and those things, but we're living in the algorithm-based world. Let's be honest, everybody. So a lot of that has came from me doing my own advertisements and doing pixels and things like that. Shout out to TikTok and all the influencers there. Some people grasp going viral or building a fan base on the internet, but that's probably like a 1% compared to all of the artists and the creatives that are looking to continue to strive and continue to build sustainability. I've kind of like reverse engineered that situation. Somehow, some way, even though I've been bringing out thousands of people to my shows, I haven't necessarily went viral on the internet, right? But I have songs with celebrities, Ari Lennox, Styles P, Trinidad James. I've written for major artists, right? And none of this has came off of relationships. None of it came off of popularity on the internet. It's came from me building value, quality relationships, working hard, sacrificing, investing in myself. And the best form of hearsay or promotion is word of mouth. So meeting people like Brandon and people I've met in the Web2 and Web3 space who says, yo, you need to throw a show? Well, this is the guy to help you throw a show. You need a dope hip hop artist that's also a songwriter. He is a good guy I should put you in contact with. That person who showed you a clip was probably from 5 or 6 years ago. I was going to Art Basel for the last like 8 years. And most people in the contemporary art world was like, what the hell does this Puerto Rican guy know about fine art, right? Or curation at that, right? It was very snobbish. And music industries like that too. They look at your TikTok following, they look at your Twitter following, they look at streams and they compile that into their data and say, oh, this is how much you're worth or not worth. A lot of that shit, pardon my French, is faked. A lot of it is controlled. A lot of it is not real. That's why a lot of these artists you see when they do shows, they can't sell, and I'm sure Yellow Heart knows this, they can't sell 20 tickets. And they're signed to a major label. And I know because I'm talking to people at the labels that are trying to figure out like, yo, Artz, how are you doing it when you only have 10K on Instagram, but you have 5,000 people on the show, right? So I say that to say like everybody's path and story is going to happen in a different way. Know your value, know your worth, know what you bring to the table. As Brandon said, I'm about to leave for tour right now. I have a show in Bosnia, which was introduced by a mutual friend from Brandon. And then I'll be opening up for a major artist named Fora in Oakland. And I'll be doing a show in DC as well. So feel free to book me at your next event. Or for whatever I could be of value. But I say that to say, just keep going, because sometimes the algorithm might not be in your favor. Maybe an investor might not be in your favor, but God and the universe might be in your favor, So I would say to anybody out there that's watching this for the future or for the now, just keep believing. And like I said, know your worth. I'm getting paid for every single one of my shows. At this point, any partnership I do with any Web3 company or any Web2, I'm getting paid as well. And it's not because, oh, I'm the biggest artist in the world, but it's because I know my value. I know what my energy and my time costs. And for a long time in Web2, these platforms were making money off the back of creators. And we're seeing not even a penny of this, right? So now, the way I've kind of like formed my business model is to be more like Dave Chappelle meets Netflix. I'm doing joint ventures with companies to where I'm saying, okay, listen, the world might not know me, but just my taste and my creativity and innovation is worth something. And this is why you have to pay me for my time and for my energy. I'm going to bring, like Brandon said, the culture. I'm going to have just as many dreadlocks, as many bald spots in the room. I'm going to have celebrities pop out to my shows on my behalf, even though you might not know who I am, but the culture and the community knows. And that's what matters. When you build that foundation, it becomes bulletproof after a while. And then even when people try to psych you out of your position and say, oh, you don't have 1 million followers on this platform, Okay, cool. But you throw a show the same day I throw a show. Let's see how many more bodies we get into those doors. You know what I'm saying? And also, I'll say this last too, not to go on a super rant, but it's also the inspiration you plant within other people, You know what I'm saying? Like these artists that you've seen on my wall, some of them have cried to me in nights when they're painting this because I've sold their first piece of art. Imagine that. I'm a rapper selling a $1,500 mural for another visual artist. It could be a young lady, a young man, whatever. You know, so sometimes your impressions or the word of mouth or your legend that gets told is also by how you affect other people, how you lead, how you help them in their situations. It doesn't only have to boil down to your actual talent, right? So, you know, just keep going, keep reject dreaming, keep believing, love yourself, keep being happy and doing what you love. You know, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, staying happy.
That's awesome, man. We might have to do a JV on that little talk right there and put that on AwardPool or Yellow Heart or put it in a vault and figure out.
Let's do it.
Because you know we got gold here, y'all. We've talked. John Mediana just came up as a panelist. John is executive brand growth founder and also NFT Nashville co-founder. So John, meet Artz. I know Artz, you got to go, but we honor you, sir. Safe
Thank
travels.
you, good sir.
We got you and love you and just keep up the great work, man.
Love you too, brother. Pleasure meeting all of y'all.
Yes, sir.
Please, I left all my info in the chat, so or just get it from Brandon. You know, let's connect.
Cool. Hey, you know, I think this is a great time to William. Appreciate you, William. You can go ahead and get ready to drop a couple of those links too in the chat. We're gonna pivot over to the meet and greet, but before we do that, I want to take advantage of the fact that if you haven't applied yet to be a panelist, go ahead and do that. But John Mediana, we want you to talk with, you know, we got a real cool thing with NFT Nashville and Yellow Heart. And Andrew, if you could just share real quick, why NFTs and live events?
Hey, why not? So, you know, it really adds a better user experience around a digital ticket, right? Like we're not offering a piece of paper, a barcode, or a seat. NFT tickets can become a programmable platform beyond an event, right? So yes, you have your POAP, your proof of attendance, your digital collectible ticket that won't get lost, it won't get frayed or torn or spilt on. This is your collectible ticket, which can be worth something on the secondary market. We've sold ticket stubs resell for thousands of dollars over the past year. But to be able to have your event holder still communicate and serve you content and rewards and benefits beyond an event, that's the what excites us at Yellow Heart with the ongoing benefits and utility. You know, maybe the next day you get airdropped an actual video of that set in your wallet, or by having that NFT ticket, it gives you early access to a future buy, or you can get a raffle and win a VIP upgrade. So there's just endless amounts of utility and benefits that, you know, can really help a community come together and feel like they're not getting cheated on ticket prices and have, you know, a lot of ongoing rewards communicating with their artists.
Amazing. Hey, we're gonna actually go off the air here and off of YouTube. We have John Mediana from NFT Nashville. We have Kamal Malik, part of this meet and greet. Y'all, you got to sign up on the Zoom link to be part of the meet and greets, this amazing community that's happening. So real quick, as we go off the air, just John Mediana, tell them what's happening and why they have to be in Nashville Labor Day weekend.
Let's go. Man, this was amazing, y'all. BrandonDavid, man, congrats. I love the panels. I'm learning so much from everybody, and it's great to see friends here, you know, and new friends too. So I just love the conversation. This is amazing. I think it's so needed in the space, just to be able to answer questions and share our learnings and really understand this space a little bit more. You know, I always say, like, we're all beginners. And if you think about it, we're just in the third trimester of NFTs. We're not even born yet. when it comes to understanding the learnings. Yeah. So if that's the case, it's like we have so much to learn, and being in proximity and being in communities is huge and important. And it helps us in a creative way innovate the space and spark ideas from each other and inspire each other, see what everyone's doing in this space and adapting and learning and seeing like, oh, I didn't know that was possible. Right. So like, I didn't know in the very beginning that you could attach utility to a JPEG, right? So like this space is ever evolving, and NFT time is like, one day is like a month. And I'm just really, really excited. If we haven't met yet, I'm John Mediana, one of the founders of NFT Nashville. We're putting on a festival here in Nashville called Fest. And it's really, really exciting. But NFT Nashville is all about this. This is what it's all about: community, and just bringing education to the forefront and letting people know that they're not alone on this journey. And it's exciting to onboard and just really lead the conversations. And we just can't thank the community enough, and thank guys like BrandonDavid and OG Matt and Andrew, all these panelists, Liv, everybody, right? Adria and everyone. It's just, this is what it's all about: sharing our experiences, sharing our learnings. We do not have to be really professional about it, and we don't have to be the experts. No one is. At the state, no one's an expert. If they tell you that, that's a red flag. It's probably a rug pull. So definitely, like, we are all learning together, and that's what NFT Nashville is all about. And we're really excited because we've been listening to the community. Me and our team, representing, obviously, like, if you haven't met Jesse, Tisha, Cody yet, they're also my partners in NFT Nashville, and they're all focused heavily right now as we're sprinting across the finish line for this festival. It's going to be amazing, y'all. And we've definitely been to every single IRL event when it comes to NFT space and blockchain and crypto and all this stuff. And we've heard from the community, man, we would love something here in our hometown in Nashville. And we just listened and we're like, all right, let's do it. But we got to do it Nashville style, right? Like Nashville, I always say that it's been blockchain before blockchain. When you have musicians, as the capital of music, the capital of publishing, the capital of collaboration, before blockchain was even existed, like this, people have been coming together in living rooms, writing music together, producing music, publishing music, and everybody was sharing royalties because everybody got a piece of the pie. That is so blockchain before this became a thing. So carrying on the legacy of honoring the past, looking forward to the future. That's what Web3 here is in Nashville and beyond. We're inspiring cities, literally inspiring cities and communities from the East Coast to the West Coast to North and South. Everyone is literally looking here and seeing what true collaboration looks like when we could bridge the gap and also just, share our learnings and inspire others. So the festival's coming up Labor Day weekend. Mark your calendars. Check out www.festwitha3.life and all the information we're rolling out on a daily basis. It feels like every hour something exciting and new is coming to the stage and coming to this event. And it's really, really exciting. We're going to see a lot of everyone that was on this panel. If not, we want to invite everybody to this event, and it's going to be amazing. We have over 30 venues across the citywide activations. On every single night is a music crawl. We have 2 major venues that we're going to be promoting education for the Friday, Saturday, and entertainment Sunday and Monday. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait to share all the details about the venues. You guys are literally will be like, whoa, this is insane. What an awesome opportunity. So book your flights, book your hotels, be out there for the festival. It's going to be amazing. And I can't wait to meet everybody in real life. RIL, right? IRL, sorry. So yeah, thanks, BrandonDavid. This has been awesome, man. Freaking love you, man. And I'm excited for the community, and I'm excited to see what we all do together and really, demonstrate and be a beacon of hope to the world and really show people what Web3 is all about. So
Brilliant, man. Well, I'm live actually from the NFT Nashville Fest office here at the Entrepreneur Center.
right.
People don't know about that Silicon Valley with a heart here in Nashville. The Entrepreneur Center, they've been doing an amazing job for some years now. And so it's a tech hub, creative arts hub, and NFT Nashville chose John and Jesse, and the team did a great job picking a great place to base out of. But right now, y'all, we're about to go off the YouTube air, and we're going to have a really cool meet and greet. We have some people that I don't even know if they want the rest of the world to know that they're in this room right now. But we have some legends in the audience who are going to be kicking it with us on the meet and greet. We're so blessed. Like Artz was saying earlier, you know, some of the people you used to look up to, what's beautiful about this space is you'll find some of them begin to look up to you. But really all you want is the eye to eye. You know, this is a face-to-face, eye to eye, handshake, hug from the metaverse to the ground. People just want more of that. So it's not about reaching the million people in this space. That's great, but it's more about reaching the one. So we're about to go off there right now. We want to thank Adria from AMG, Liv, founder of the Tiny Mike series, singer-songwriter here in Nashville, Artz, rejectdreams.com, event art curator, Andrew from Yellow Heart. Like I said, if you're in the meet and greet, you're going to hear more from these people. But if you're in the YouTube world, that's it. Ha! For now, to be continued. So we have Brenda, CMO and co-founder of AwardPool, awardpool.com. Michael McCarroll. If y'all like, you ain't gonna find a more legit person for this space, at least that I've found. If you need insurance, if you're throwing an event, if you want to learn more about Lloyd's of London, revenue insurance, reach out to me, reach out to Michael, book a call, and he'll be glad to get you some information. Because if you are throwing events, he's got the event promoter's best interest. So he really does. We had a great call and I was just convinced he's the right guy. Larry Coble, Michael McCarroll should definitely connect as well. If you're into throwing events or know artists or people that throw events and they need to be covered, Michael McCarroll at Plexus Group. We want to thank Ifani, the Bitcoin Whisperer. He couldn't make it. Nathan Coy as well. Dillon, team checked. We honor you, sir. And get ready, y'all. We'll go ahead and drop those links, or at least if you want to be part of NFT Nashville, sponsorship, speakers, we have a Google Doc link. I believe William is going to be posting in the chat. Fill that out, and somebody from the team will be getting back to you soon. And we're going off the air. God bless. Much success. You'll be hearing a little more from Adria because we didn't hear enough from her on the official segments. You'll be hearing more from her. Also, I believe you're probably going to hear from her at NFT Nashville Fest. So, and Liv, and so many others. Spotty Wi-Fi, where you at? It's not spotty Wi-Fi here at the EC. The Wi-Fi is working just fine. Appreciate you. Simplify the message. Why Web3 August edition to be continued in the meet and greet, which you had to sign up on the Zoom link. Where are you? We want to see you. Okay. Bye-bye for now. God bless. Much success. Let's keep it moving. We're going off the air. Okay, let's see.
Let's go.